Title: NYC Rooftop Runway in Neon the Band. Episode: This is the fashion show they really didn't want you to see. We designed and filmed an entire neon runway event on a New York City rooftop, a cyberpunk spectacle of light and rebellion. But we also built a story around it, a concept so controversial that it was almost never released, an idea that made people demand we shut the whole thing down. This is that band episode. So, how'd we do it? How did we pull off a high-fashion event in the heart of New York without a multi-million-dollar budget? And more importantly, why did they try to stop us from ever showing it to you? It all started with a simple, almost dangerous question. What if we could break the rules of fashion? Not just bend them, but completely shatter them. Every year, we see these incredible runway shows during New York Fashion Week. We're talking events on rooftops with stunning skyline views, exclusive parties, and a guest list you can only dream of. They're amazing, but they're also a closed world. A world with gatekeepers, insane budgets, and logistical nightmares. So, we had this wild idea. We wanted the grit of a Lower East Side rooftop, like the kind Off-White used for their shows. We wanted the drama of a penthouse party overlooking the city. But we were going to do it our way. We wanted to create a show that anyone could attend, from anywhere in the world. We wanted a runway that wasn't just for the elite, but for everyone who loves art, tech, and a little rebellion. The only problem: we had no access to a rooftop, no team of models, and definitely no million-dollar budget. All we had was an idea. That's when it hit us. The concept wasn't just about fashion. It was about the future. It had to be cyberpunk. A genre built on that clash between high-tech and low-life, polished chrome and city grime. It's a whole philosophy that challenges the establishment. And what's more, establishment than the traditional fashion industry. The solution was just as futuristic as the look we were going for. We would build the entire show from code. Not a single stitch of real fabric. Not one real person. We decided to create a hyper-realistic simulation of a guerrilla rooftop runway event. It's all generated with artificial intelligence. We weren't just designing a collection. We were designing our own reality. First things first. How do you even design a clothing collection without thread, fabric, or a sewing machine? Our solution was language. We basically became digital tailors, weaving our collection into existence with carefully written AI prompts. We started with ideas that felt impossible in the real world. I got obsessed with the idea of bioluminescence imagining creatures from the deep sea, adapted for a concrete jungle. We drew inspiration from other AI shows, like the Neon Horizon project in Milan, which created this incredible mood of a rainy, glowing, futuristic city. Our prompts were our patterns. Things like a futuristic gown made of glowing jellyfish silk, iridescent and flowing, worn by a model on a wet rooftop, or cybernetic streetwear with armored plates reflecting the neon signs of a futuristic New York. We were guiding the AI, teaching it our vision. This wasn't just about clicking buttons. It was a collaboration with the machine to create digital fabrics that shimmered with an otherworldly light and seemed to react to the simulated rain falling around them. Next up, the models. A runway show is nothing without the people who bring the clothes to life. But we had no agency and no casting calls. This was another problem that we turned into an opportunity. We didn't want traditional models, we wanted avatars. Figures that embodied the strength and diversity of our cyberpunk world. Using AI tools, we generated our entire cast from scratch. We could customize every single detail, creating faces and forms that were both beautiful and intimidating, completely free from the constraints of the real world. They were our perfect, unreal army of the night. Finally, the stage had to be perfect. It had to be that quintessential New York City rooftop, the kind you see in movies that feels both dangerous and magical. We needed the city's energy. So, we used AI to generate our venue, piecing together the perfect urban dreamscape. We put our runway high above the streets, with the Empire State Building piercing the clouds in the distance. We dialed in a persistent, moody rain so every surface would glisten and made fog roll in off a digital Hudson River. Every puddle, every reflection, every distant siren was completely under our control. We were building a memory of a place that never even existed. Honestly, seeing all these digital pieces come together from the fabric to the faces to the city itself was one of the most incredible creative experiences of my life. Really, felt like we were inventing a new way to make art. If you're into this mix of technology and creativity and you want to see where we take things next, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started, and trust me, there is so much more to show you. And then, it was showtime. No guests, no security, no fire marshals. Just us, the machine, and the storm we had created. The show opens with a wide, sweeping drone shot, gliding over the rain-slicked rooftop. The city is just a blur of neon and darkness. A heavy, synth-driven track starts to pulse, and the first model emerges from the shadows. She's wearing what we called the glitch armor, a black jacket where the surface seems to flicker and distort. The fabric shifting between solid and static. Her walk is slow, deliberate, and powerful. From there, the collection unfolds. You see the jellyfish gown, a piece that just seems to defy gravity. It's this ethereal dress made of translucent, glowing layers that float around the model as if she's underwater, not on a rooftop. The light it gives off casts a soft, blue glow on the wet concrete. Then comes the streetwear, models in hooded cloaks and cargo pants made from a material that looks like carbon fiber and obsidian, but with circuits of light that pulse in time with the music. These are outfits for a beautiful, dangerous future. We designed the entire show to feel like a forgotten cyberpunk film. The camera moves with purpose, cutting from dramatic wide shots of the skyline to intense close-ups on the impossible textures of the clothes. We captured the models' reflections in the puddles on the ground, their stoic expressions lit only by their own outfits. For those 12 minutes, our goal was to make you forget any of it was AR. We wanted you to be completely lost in the world, in the art, in the sheer spectacle of a neon runway held in a thunderstorm on top of the world. After the show was finished rendering, we were ecstatic. We'd actually done it. We created our impossible event. We cut a short 15-second teaser and posted it online just to give people a glimpse of what we'd built. And that's when the trouble started. The ban wasn't some formal cease and desist from a big corporation. It was something sneakier and, in a way, scarier. It was a philosophical attack. The video clip exploded, but not in the way we'd hoped. We were flooded with comments and messages, mostly from people in the creative and fashion industries. They weren't celebrating the innovation. They were horrified. We were called charlatans. We were accused of making soulless art. We were told that what we made wasn't a fashion show. It was a deepfake, a technological trick that devalued the hard work of real designers who spend months draping fabric off models who train for years, and photographers who brave the elements to get the perfect shot. They said we were killing fashion by replacing human skill with cold, unfeeling algorithms. The backlash was intense. It was a tidal wave of criticism that questioned the very heart of our project. For a while, it really shook us. Did they have a point? Had we created something that was ultimately empty? The pressure to just shelve the project, delete the files, and pretend it never happened was immense. We genuinely thought about not releasing the full video. That's why we call it the banned episode, because a very vocal group of purists believed it was too dangerous to even exist. They thought it represented a future where human creativity is obsolete, and they tried to shut it down before it could even really start. The controversy wasn't about permits or trespassing. It was a fight for the soul of art itself. In the end, we decided to release it. We realized that the conversation that intense debate we had sparked was just too important to hide from. Art isn't always supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to challenge you, to make you ask questions. Our goal was never to replace traditional fashion, but to ask, what else can fashion be? It was to prove that creativity isn't stuck in one medium or one industry. This project was about taking the spirit of a New York rooftop runway, the energy, the rebellion, the spectacle, and making it accessible to anyone with an idea and a computer. It's about making art more democratic. So, here it is. Our show. Our statement. We're putting it out into the world, not as an endpoint, but as a starting point for a much bigger conversation. And frankly, the backlash just lit a fire under us. It proved we were onto something real, something that actually matters. And if they hated this, they're really not going to like what we have planned next. Stay tuned.